Hello again, my name is Ernest. This is JoyNews Dates, and this is the home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Let's start from the central region, where police there have arrested Paul Kwa, the driver of an articulated truck which was involved in a fatal motor accident on Wednesday at the Edujiase village on the Elmina Commander Junction Road. Now, preliminary investigations reveal that the suspect, Paul Kwa, was driving a DAF flat body articulated truck loaded with 850 bags of cement from Takrady to Accra. On reaching Edujiase village, he carelessly overtook some vehicles and collided head-on with an oncoming Toyota Haze minibus. The driver and 11 passengers on board the Toyota Haze vehicle have all been confirmed dead by a medical officer at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. One female passenger who survived the accident is responding to treatment at the same hospital. Let's go live to the region now and speak to correspondent Richard Kojo for more on this. Richard, so we understand that the police has also launched a manhunt for someone who set fire along that stretch of the road, which actually reduced visibility, which they suspect may have caused the accident. Hello, Richard. If you can hear me, bring us up to speed on the actions of the police with regards to this accident. So the driver, we understand, is in the custody of the police, but there's a manhunt for another person who is suspected to have set fire just along the road that, caused the accident because the entire area was engulfed in smoke. Richard, just bring us up to speed with the police's action. Well, it appears we do not have Richard Kojo on the line. We'll be bringing you some more details once we get him on the line. But that is a fatal accident that caused the life of all passengers on board that vehicle. We'll be bringing you details here on Newsdesk. Let's do some other stories now. And was to be the parallel voice to the binary political rhetoric from the NPP and the NDC. A group of angry youth backed by the power of the internet began to mobilize. The goal of the group was to pile pressure on government and other state actors to fix the country. Exactly a year since its highly talked about protest, my colleague Manu has been finding out what has become of the group Fix the Country.
August 2021, a movement that started only as a social media hashtag, Fix the Country, had metamorphosed into perhaps the biggest protest organized by a non-political group in Ghana. A movement of ordinary citizens was now demanding strict accountability of its government.
I think that's very important that we show that we reject the attitude of the government and we want to create a culture of dissent. It's important that we create a culture of dissent. We show our disapproval.
We are tired of the lies. Article 71 office holders are lies. It is bogus. It is a calculated attempt to steal us. We are tired of the mendacilloquence, the zabanism and the political prostitute.
Their plan was to spread the protest across the country.
Today, August 4, is the rebirth of Ghana. And this in itself is a manifestation of that rebirth. But this is not the end, this is actually the beginning.
We are all hungry in this country, and we won't allow tribalism to divide us. From here, we are going to Kumasi, Tamale, Ho, because we want all of us to participate in this demonstration.
But this was not to be. After exactly a year, a breakaway by the Economic Fighters League, the arrest and prosecution of Oliver Baka-Vormawo for alleged treasonable comments, and a general lack of activity have made the group a pale shadow of its former self.
It felt like there wasn't that pursuit of the message, which was fix the country. It was just about some people giving themselves some self-importance and self-aggrandizing sort of, status.
That's
And
Chris
it was
Atadika.
sad because
He
the
once
country is not
was
for
a strong
one person.
supporter of the
The country
group,
is not for a selected
but not
few
anymore.
or a selected group of people. Fix the country is something that lies in the heart of every young person in Ghana. So we use our roads, we see bad roads, we feel it inside that no, this thing needs to be fixed. At a point, you had some faction of the leaders coming out to put out a statement saying they are no more part of the movement. So I blame the leaders for it, because obviously, if they also blamed our leadership for the poor status of our country, right? If Fix the Country itself as a movement wasn't able to work, it means the leadership of Fix the Country also needs to be blamed.
And why did the EFL abandon the Fix the Country ship? I meet fighter Hadi Yakubu for some answers.
The main thing is that there were measures, actions, utterances, clearly, consistently. And this is not just once or twice, consistently. Trying very hard, to push the message in a way that clearly was in the benefit of the opposition. If we wanted to be in the opposition or to join the opposition, we would have joined them. If we wanted to join the government, we would have done so.
This is strongly rejected by Fix the Country. Felicity Nelson is one of the conveners.
That's completely false. This isn't something that I'm ever going to support. And if they made a lot of allegations when they had their press conference, and all of those allegations came with literally no proof. So if they're saying some persons if you tell me some persons are pushing in favor of a certain political party, who's that person? What political party is that? Be bold. If you're bold enough to make allegations, back them up and say this particular person, that particular person, on this particular day, this is what happened. Be specific. But when you start throwing general allegations around, like, I'm not gonna, I'm refuting it, but I don't even want to spend too much time on it.
So why does the group seem to have lost its luster?
If you look at even what's happening with Oliver, considering the fact that, he was in detention for about 30 days, and there was a lot of back and forth even regarding which court to take him to. Even when he was arrested, it took like nearly 26 hours before he was allowed to even have access to a lawyer. These are fundamental human rights which were being denied of him. So I definitely think that there's always this urge for government to use the police especially to kind of clamp down on us. I genuinely think that was one of those moments where the state's been waiting. We're just waiting for you to slip up and get you on something, just something. If the state genuinely had a case, why is it that most of the time when they get to the courtroom, the state prosecutor doesn't turn up, they're asking for more time? I think there's definitely people who would not be as active or as vocal because, the reality is that, as Martin Amidou said, when you fight corruption, corruption fights back. And the reality is that for a lot of people, from jobs to contracts to, certain opportunities, if you say the wrong thing about the government, even if you like the wrong post, these are things which can have opportunity. You can miss out on opportunities, lose out on job opportunities, lose out on scholarship opportunities. So yes, there are real life repercussions for speaking up against the government. And what's happening to Oliver is definitely going to make a lot of people feel like maybe I shouldn't be so vocal, maybe I need to take a step back.
Historian and scholar Kwame Dako Ankra agrees government might have been on the heels of the group.
By bringing out some of the issues of corruption, issues of, let's say, mismanagement, incompetence, and so on, can easily bring the government down or make the government unpopular. So the government and its supporters will also find ways and means to undermine this group so that whatever they say will not be will not catch resonance with the people. That is the specific issues with regard to this group.
What then has become of the group's ideals?
If people are speaking up against the state, even if they hate Fix the Country, even if they hate me, if they hate Oliver, and they're speaking up against the state, look, what happened in Swami? They went on they did one day of him coming over and then showing him small Pepe. Small pepper. So the reality is that don't ever think you're not important. Your voice doesn't matter. You just need to be. You need to organize and be. If you have a unit and all of you are saying the same thing, you can win. That's the thing. Fix the country is not about us. It's about the people. So once the people are out there going on their protests, fighting for what they deserve, what is owed to them, is a win for me. It doesn't have to be under the guise or the banner of fix the country for it to be a win. It's never about personal glory, fix the country's glory. It's about we want Ghana to be better.
Whether or not the Fix the Country group has been successful with its aim, its leaders, supporters and even rivals agree on one thing: that the struggle continues, even if under a new banner name. Manuel Cranting, JoyNews, Accra.
So let's do some analysis on this story. We're joined on the phone by political scientist Dr. Asante. Doc, we're grateful for your time here on Newsdesk. First of all, how do you read into the fizzling out of this group in a short time? I mean, you have been around long enough. Is it consistent with the trend, or are you actually surprised at this particular one? Hello, Dr. Asante. Dr. Asante, can you hear me? Well, it appears we do not have Dr. Asante on the line, but we're working the phone lines to bring him back to have some conversation on the back of this story. A year on of Fix the Country movement, what has become of the group? How do you measure the success of the group? You heard that some of the lead activists say they have been successful, at least in getting people to voice out their concerns, to be vociferous on issues of national interest. Is that really the measure for the success of such movements? And given that after just a year, we do not see much on the front line, would you say that the group has been successful? Dr. Asante joins us back on the line. Doc, I'm grateful that you could join us. And I was just making the point that you have been here long enough. You've seen similar movements over the years. Are you surprised at what has become of this movement, or is just consistent with the trend?
Oh, I think they've done their best. They've been able to bring their grievances out. And some of the things they said are the realities of the ground. There's no doubt about that. All right? All these type of movements, yes, this is what they do. But the problem is how they will be able to sustain the effort. And that's the difficulty they face today. Some of it is born out of the fact that some of the demands, you will find it difficult to sustain that on the street. You recall that they said that among the things that they were looking forward to government fixing include changing the constitution, changing the political system, and the whole lot. The political system is a big concept. All right, so if you are looking for that, you are going to have a difficulty. In addition to this, they also talk about what? They want development and all that. Development is not a one-day thing. It takes a long while. So if you want that. So I was advising those days when we were talking about the issue that it should take the form of an economic pressure group. This is a pressure group that are born out of circumstances. So you take something little, you drum home, and then you gain support, you move on to another thing. Yes. So that should have been the strategy. But they had their game plan, and they did their best. We need such groups who will use legitimate means to bring to attention concerns of people to the doorstep of what holders of political power. There's absolutely no wrong about that. But all these things, you do it within the framework of the law. They've done their bit, but there are lots that they need to do if they want to sustain themselves.
They blame government attack on some of their leading members for what is now the inactivity of the group or its activeness at the front line. Would you say that is legitimate or it's only perceived?
They have to define to us what the government attack is. I don't know, so I cannot speak to that issue.
Well, they cite the prosecution of Oliver Barker-Vormawor as one of them.
Oh, that issue, I'll not go into it, but if the leader is not part of the group, obviously it's the going concern, so the group must survive with other members of the group holding the fort, all right? But it all boils down to one of the things is that you need to have what? Every organization, you need somebody who, that person will organize the system for you. The person will be able to what? Stand in when there is somebody who's a key person who's absent and all that. These type of arrangement ought to be made so that they can sustain themselves.
Would you say the group has been successful, given what it set out to achieve? And key amongst them was the fact that they say people could not even express themselves. Today, they are saying they are unable to be as active as they want to be because government is clamping down on the activities and hounding some of their people. Would you say that they have been successful in that regard?
If you look at what they've done, you have pluses and then you have minuses. The pluses is that there are some genuine issues they brought to the fore, i.e. unemployment, i.e. issue of what? Development and a host of them. They were the realities of the ground and they were able to bring it to the attention of everybody. And for me, that's a plus. All right. The weaknesses, some of them include organization. That I am sure they were not able to organize themselves so well to sustain their efforts on the street. All right, that's a difficult. And then the path they chose to be talking about all manner of issues. If you are a pressure group, there is an extent to which you can go if you really want your voice to be heard. And that's why all the while I was advocating that they should take the path of anomic civil society organization or interest group, so that they take some little issue, look at it, discuss them, and then move to another one, and that one is getting more relevant. But if you take on things that have one long gestation period, then I'm afraid you are going to battle it. You won't get to the end, and people become tired and all that.
Very finally, Doc, if you could just give me a quick response to this. Let's look at government's response to the issues they raised, and whether you think that our government are becoming immune to such movements and the pressure that is being piled to address very pertinent issues.
Some of the issues they raised, issue about fuel pricing, issue about unemployment, they're new issues. That nobody can deny that. But as to whether you are going to get them within the shortest possible time, that's a difficult. That's why the strategy comes in. Which one would I take it on or take on board? Government will respond to it quickly. That you need to figure it out very well. For me, that was missing in their work, But for me, as a student of democracy, I believe that these are some of the important components of democratic rules, which we want them to be around at all times, provided they work within the framework of the law.
Thank you very much. That's Dr. Kwame Asante. He is a political science lecturer at the University of Ghana. Let's return to our earlier story on the accident in the Central Region, where we understand the police has arrested Paul Kwa, the driver of that articulated truck, and is on a manhunt for another person who is suspected to have caused the accident. Richard Kojo joins us on the line. Richard, what more are we learning about the police action to arrest another suspect?
So, Ernest, you know that the police arrested the trailer driver, the suspect to have caused the accident. And so he's been charged with careless and inconsiderate driving. Okay. They are also on the heels of that particular person who set fire by the roadside that made smoke engulf the entire area. I spoke with the municipal chief executive officer and then the police commander. They say that they have not gotten wind of where the person is, and so they are still on the heels of that person. I also visited a hospital to check on the only survivor in this particular accident, and then we are told that she is doing very, very well. Meanwhile, families continue to trickle into the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital to identify the bodies that have been deposited at the morgue.
Richard, thank you very much for bringing us that update. So the latest is that the driver has been charged with careless and inconsiderate driving. Meanwhile, there is a manhunt for another suspect who is, of course, believed to have caused the accident by setting fire along that stretch leading to the accident. Let's turn our attention now to other stories. If your local fuel station has run out of fuel this morning, it's because the Fuel Tanker Drivers Association are still on strike. On Monday, the Ghana National Petroleum Tanker Drivers Union embarked on a strike protesting what they claim to be ill treatment by the Bulk Oil Storage and Transportation Company Limited and the National Petroleum Authority. Following the government's failure to address their concerns, the group says transportation of products such as petrol, diesel, aviation fuel and kerosene will be halted as well until their demands are met. The drivers initially stopped the transport of mainly LPG but have escalated the strike to include drivers who transport all forms of petroleum products. The strike action is affecting the delivery of fuel to various stations. My colleague Papani Ashale joins me via Zoom, live actually, from some fuel stations with an update on this. But first, the Vice President of the National Petroleum Tanker Drivers Union says their action will not be stopped until government heeds their demand. Let's go live to Papani first. Papani, we understand that you are in a meeting. We understand that there's something happening on the ground. Bring us up to speed.
For 2 days now, since Thursday, August, we'll try to speak to some of the drivers. Like this driver here, we are told that they've had to roam unsuccessfully trying to look for good quality oil, fuel. Please, what's your name?
My name is Bernard Ampiao.
Okay, Bernard, so how long have you been trying to look for fuel?
For the past 3 days now, I've been here trying to buy fuel. Normally what I do is early in the morning, I fill my tank before starting work. But for the past 3 days, I've been here coming in the morning, in the evening. I don't get some to buy. I don't know the reason why. But I heard that maybe these tankers drivers have problem concerning their payments and those things. So I think. And even today, I heard that they've called off the strike, but I'm still hoping that they bring us fuel because I normally buy oil.
Okay. Yeah. Let me ask you, how disturbing is this for you?
Oh, it has really been unbearable because, if you don't get it here, then it means you have to drive through a whole lot of places before you can get a fuel. I only buy oil. That is it, yeah.
But how many outlets have you been to?
Like 6. Yes.
The same thing, they don't have petrol.
The same thing, they don't have petrol. Wow. They only have diesel.
So at this point, what do you want to be done? Because you need it to also do some work.
Yeah, so what I have to do is I have to look out for other fuel stations. The people that they just purchase it from there.
Bernard, let me thank you very much. So Bernard is one of many who have been searching through town, hoping to get some fuel to buy, particularly petrol, but just now he's been turned away because this particular station, like many others, have told him that there's no fuel to buy. There's some more vehicles coming through, all have been told nearly the same response, that there's no fuel here. But there's no signboard displaying to tell drivers who are also in the same situation whether there's fuel or not. They would have to drive into the station and later try to find out whether they have fuel or not. It's a devastating moment for drivers, especially for online drivers and commercial drivers, taxis and trotros, who depend on this as an input for the work that they do. They can only hope that a solution to the concerns of the tanker drivers will be found as soon as possible. For JoyNews, Michael Ashale.
Let's speak to Sunday Alabi, who is Vice Chairman of the National Association of Tanker Drivers. He joins us on the line. Thank you very much, sir, for your time here on Newsdesk. We understand you are in a meeting with government on the issues that you have raised. Are you progressing on the matter?
Yes, we are discussing the matter now, so I can't talk much.
Say again.
I am under the meeting now as you speak. So if you can permit me after the meeting, then we talk.
Does it look like we're going to have the strike called off anytime soon?
I can't say that now until the meeting is finished.
Thank you very much. But what are your critical demands? I mean, you talk about the tracking system. Would that single issue be enough once it's addressed to get you to call off the strike?
we are addressing all at once.
You want all the issues addressed at once?
Yeah, we are addressing all the issues now.
So we will get an update on the meeting once that is done. Thank you very much for your time. That's Sunday Alabi. Thanks for joining us. He's the Vice Chairman of the Tanker Drivers Union there. The African Women Lawyers Association is intensifying its sensitization program on sexual and gender-based violence in communities within the Techiman South and Kintampo North municipalities. The move, according to the Executive Director Edna Kuma, forms part of implementation of the group's project, which seeks to create an enabling environment for girls and women to know, claim and exercise their rights to end sexual and gender-based violence. There's more in the following report by Anasabit.
The week-long sensitization workshop organized by the African Women Lawyers Association was to, amongst other things, raise awareness on the dangers sexual and gender-based violence poses to the education and development of children and the vital roles of parents and community stakeholders in containing the menace. Executive Director of Aula, Madame Edna Kuma, who took the participants through various SGBV-related topics, noted that the move is to form teams capable of addressing cases of sexual and gender-based violence and aid the victims in their quest to seek for justice.
We met the CUs, they are the Court Users Committee, and this Court Users Committee are mostly institutions, including SHRAJ, social welfare, the courts, DOVSU, the police, and Ghana Health Service. The other groups are here. What we're doing is that to appraise them with the simple issues at court going, because some of them were afraid to handle issues for others at the court or encourage them to go to court. So the intention is to form a committee and a platform so that they can respond to each other. If a case comes to them, they put it on the platform. How do we do it? So if it does to, there's a DOVSU person on the committee so they can quickly answer and respond.
She, however, expressed worry at the increasing number of girls being married off to older men out of ignorance and poverty and appealed to parents to be responsible.
How do I allow 40 years old to go and marry? A child marriage. You can't handle your own biological self, let alone a baby, let alone handle an elder man. Your bargaining power is very low. So the marriage may not last. So we keep on appealing to parents how responsible they should be, not to be pushing their children into marriage. And at the same time, the communities who should be very careful about how to handle the girl child.
The Chima Municipal Director of the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Anthony Kwame Agmamavi, bemoaned the involvement of some key stakeholders in the community to settle rape and defilement cases out of court, a situation he described as worrying.
The challenges we encounter is the involvement of the chiefs. Sometimes they would want to intervene in the matter and do it home settlement. But issues of defilement and rape, they are purely criminal matters. So those who have to come in, assess the situation, and if the perpetrators have to be sent to court, they will put them before court for them to face the full rigors of the law.
A representative of the Traditional Council and Adontihima of Tanoso, Nana Ikwiasewa Bonsu, disclosed that the meeting has exposed participants to proper ways of handling SGBV cases and should extend the message to other queen mothers in the area to sensitize the masses in their various communities.
Ahima for Bosumi be a fear day chato and your committee. Mestre Yempenny for our Modaya no say, Ombema Makwenya na Makasa Chre Nananum ama womoso di akọ afiefiem akọbọ omamanfo amane se se benye sika nko an de fa lawyer wasem otimi kọ ema lawyer twetwaje na obusa mi a na de yebe ya afa ho no.
Municipal Girl Child Coordinator Ellen White, on her part, lauded Aula for the exercise and called for intensive sensitization among girls in schools.
Aula has been very supportive to the municipality. They were here in 2019 and they have made a lot of impact. So we have to sensitize our girls and our males to the boys as well. They also need us. So the sensitization has to go far in the communities. We have to intensify our community engagement so that they get to know more about sexual and gender-based violence.
The program, held under the theme strengthening communities against SGBV project with support from Oxfam. WILDAF, the European Union and other partners seeks to create enabling environment for girls and women to know, claim and exercise their rights to end sexual and gender-based violence in Ghana. Anna Sabet, Joy News, Tichiman.
Let's do some other stories now. The Ghana Psychological Association says it will offer free psychological and social services to children of a couple who died under strange circumstances at Ichuma Makro near Boakwa in the Ashanti region. The Ghana Psychological Association said it was touched by the plight of the children after monitoring the story on JoyNews. The bodies of Mr. and Mrs. Jackson, suspected to have died several weeks in their two-bedroom apartment, were retrieved by the Boakwa police after they broke into their locked apartment. The police also rescued their two children, 11 and 13-year-old, who were found in an unconscious state. We'll hear from the GPA shortly, but first my colleague Ohemin Teria joins me via phone with an update on the story. Ohemin, the children were admitted at the hospital to be resuscitated. How are they faring? Well, Ohemin, if you can hear me, bring us up to speed on how the children are doing. They were admitted at the hospital, but we do not know what has become of their health as we speak. Well, let's go into Zoom now. We'll get Ohemin back on the line. Let's go into Zoom and speak to Dr. Collins, who is the president of the Psychological Association, and he joins us. Thank you very much, Dr. Collins Ajiman. So you indeed want to support. How exactly, what form is your intervention coming?
Right. Thank you, my brother. So basically, when we heard this particular story aired by Ohemin Terry on behalf of the multimedia group, we were very much touched. And so the first thing we did was to get in touch with multimedia group, get to understand the holistic aspects of the story. And then we got in touch with the medical team in Kumasi, the superintendent in charge, and the team managing the biological and physical aspects of these two children. And we took some briefing from them. As at yesterday, we had to put a team of professionals together. We have put a team of up to about 8 for now to be able to do the initial assessment and scoping. And yesterday that was done. Now, the nature of support we need to give. I must say, when people go through traumatic experiences, such as what has been reported, if we don't manage it well, it can linger, it can take a long time, and the devastating effect could be very dire, not just for the people involved, but even relevant others. So for now, our primary target is to help these two children and manage them. It could take several weeks and even several months, if not years, trying to support these children. The next target has to do with tenants who may have occupied the same space with these persons involved. Then we will have to also concentrate on neighbors who may have trooped in, who were aware, got to the scene, saw some of the pictures, got to hear first-hand information on these things. Then family members, as I yesterday, some family members have come in. We need to also support these family members. They've lost loved ones. However painful the story may be, they will also be affected in one way or the other. And then first-hand responders, especially if you look at the police and if fire service were also there, we need to also support them. Usually, they are always first to be at a scene. They are also humans. We call them Merimama Yuki, that they are the men who support us, but they are also humans. Experience has shown that as they respond to some of these crises, sometimes they also go through depressive episodes and will also need help. One last thing that I need to mention, we are particularly interested in how we will co-respond with the police. We want to support the police so that their line of questioning, what kind of questions they are going to ask, how they will ask those questions. Will it be the right time to ask those questions? We would have to guide the police as they do their investigation so they don't end up also re-traumatizing the children as they try to get to understand fully what really may have happened leading to this unfortunate situation.
Quite an elaborate plan there, but by way of your assessment, what can you tell us about the health of the children? Are they in the position to begin these processes that you talk about?
Well, currently, like I said, we are working holistically. And so from the medical team, they have started responding. And as we heard from the superintendent in charge, they have lost a lot of water. So they were very much dehydrated. So we are hoping between yesterday and today, as they have continued to support them, they will begin to respond actively. And so depending on the green lights from our colleagues, we will also begin to do our work. And I must say, even if someone is not speaking, we render support to those who are not able to speak, in terms of those who are not able to utter words as we are doing. So our experts will be able to also use those skills that they have acquired over the years to still begin to support these children that we are really yearning to give them the best of care so that they will be able to come back and live their normal lives in the course of the time.
Doctor, I'm grateful for your time. That's Dr. Collins Ajiman, Bedu Ajiman, who is the president of the Ghana Psychological Association. This is News Desk with me, Ernest. We are business after this break.
Hi, welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. As part of strategies to transform from a frontier market to an emerging one, the Ghana Stock Exchange says it is engaging various groups within the business community. This engagement, it says, has the potential to double the number of companies currently listed on the Bourse in 5 years. Managing Director of the Stock Exchange, Eko Afezi, made this known at an MOU signing ceremony between his outfit and the GIPC here in Accra.
We've been trying to get more companies listed on the market for a while. It's not been easy, and we'll keep on trying very hard, using various strategies where we keep on educating. We are forming a very strong alliance with Association of Ghana Industries and other associations in order to educate their members over the importance of long-term capital, raising long-term capital. That's what most Ghanaian companies need. If not, it becomes difficult for them to expand and grow. If not difficult, it becomes difficult for them to expand and grow. We believe going forward, we can easily double that number maybe in 5 years' time. That's why our vision has always been, how do we get to 100 to make the market more liquid? That is for both equities and debt. So we'll keep on working hard together.
Now, Ghana's development partners are urging government to speed up action to move the country towards the generation and supply of renewable energy. This, they say, will enable Ghana qualify for cheaper funds with conditions tied to the use of clean energy such as solar and wind power. Here's Netherlands Ambassador to Ghana, Jeroen Verhel.
First of all, we have a joint challenge and a joint assignment to reduce the emission of climate change causing gases, greenhouse gases, and in that we have to collaborate together. And it's not only a collaboration between countries, but it's also a collaboration between different segments of society. It's public-private collaboration. And the Netherlands is mainly focusing on promoting public-private cooperation in order to turn energy, electricity generation into something which is not contribution to pollution. So we focus on enhancing the use of renewable energy, like hydropower, like solar, like wind, in order to generate electricity. And we try to promote also that in Ghana, the energy mix, the amount, the contribution of renewable energy in producing electricity is enhanced, because at the moment it is only 30%, mainly hydropower. 70% of Ghana's electricity is generated by fossil fuels, and the plea that I made this morning was to see if Ghana could change this energy mix and enhance the contribution of renewable energies, and that's mainly solar and wind, in the electricity generation. And the Netherlands would be very happy to support that effort.
And that's business for now. My name is Daryl Kwao. Up next, some tech news. Do stay tuned.
Okay, so it's Friday, and we want to talk some tech. Spikey is here to bring us up to speed what's happening. Hello, Spikey.
Hello.
A day after the holiday.
Yeah, it should have been today.
It should have been today, Charlie.
Been today.
Or maybe today should have been added to the holiday, so we have an extension. A very long weekend.
Yeah.
But we'd have to come to work anyways. The people we are fighting for.
Yeah.
Tell us what's happening.
So, you know Airbnb, the company that is like a hotel with no hotels, you know, renting apartments with no apartments. Basically the Uber for houses.
Exactly.
Yes.
I only discovered like 2 months ago.
Oh.
I didn't know about Airbnb.
I've known about Airbnb for years because friends and I, when we go out of town and we want to stay at places, getting a hotel can sometimes be expensive. But if you get an Airbnb, you can cohabitate in that space with your friends. You guys contribute, share the cost, even cook. It's communal, it's fun, you know, and it's affordable. And Airbnb says that even amid all the economic crises and things, prices going high, gas prices, they are experiencing high demand. They've got about 103.7 million bookings.
Wow.
Since, you know, like June. Wow. And that's crazy. Like,
well, it means that people are traveling. So post-COVID, we are seeing some recovery in the tourism sector. And even in Ghana, I understand that, you know, we've seen an increase in terms of the visitors we are recording. All right.
That's good news.
That's good news for them. Uber, what's happening to Uber?
Same thing. Uber is also experiencing...
Okay, but that's the global picture, right?
Global
because
picture.
In Ghana, people are complaining that Uber is now expensive. Obviously, because we have fuel prices, you know, going up. And so, yeah, maybe globally, but locally, I really don't. I'll be interested in knowing what the figures are locally.
Well, yeah, that would be very interesting. Also considering the fact that the drivers are complaining in Ghana, for example, that, hey, but the prices have not been adjusted to favor us when it comes to the gas prices that are increasing. So, yeah, there's that worry. But then it's understandable because they've got options. Who is going to be the first to increase their fares? That's going to direct all the customers to the other platforms. So I would advise that maybe all three platforms agree, you know, ready, set, go. But then if you have some...
But then it brings to, you know, mind the issue about regulation of that sector. I mean, it's long overdue. Government should move in and regulate how, you know, these online...
platforms. Ride-hailing apps and all that. Well, I think competition is good. So we benefit in the long run. Because of competition, the consumers are benefiting, but that's forgetting that the drivers are also consumers and they are not benefiting. So
but it's tough. I mean, talking about local content, it shatters, you know... Shaxi. How's it doing?
I haven't taken one before. I only saw one like a week after it was announced. But I haven't seen...
Maybe it's about time. It's about time we develop our own, you know...
You know, the thing about developing your own ride-hailing app or any app like that is it's two-pronged. You need to get drivers and you need to get customers. If you have customers but no drivers, you're losing. If you have drivers and no customers, you're losing because then they'll switch to the
But I'm sure that if you have the drivers, so if you have the cars, with publicity, with good strategy, you are going to get the customers.
Yeah.
Often it's the latter.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it for tech.
Well, the final one
is
conjoined twins, join at the head, were separated using virtual reality.
I saw that story.
Yeah.
I saw that story on the BBC. But how exactly?
So, you know, it was a very complicated surgery. And so they did CT scans, they did MRIs, and they recreated the whole situation, if I should put it like that, of the children in a virtual reality platform, and had surgeons from all over the world wearing VR headsets going through the procedure.
Okay.
So, you know, you're seeing, let's say you're in Europe somewhere, I'm in Africa, somebody's in Asia, and we're all coming together to perform this surgery. I mean, first off, they did a lot of practice, so they can't get anything wrong. And then all the other surgeons are then seeing the procedure going on, and they're directing as it's happening in real time because they're wearing the virtual reality headset.
Okay, so we have the hands-on surgeons.
Yes.
And there are others who are joining virtually.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
And they're getting all that, you know, information in real time. And for 27-hour surgery, internet did not mess them up.
Yeah, there you go. There you go again. Strikey, thank you very much for
having me.
Tech Talk on Newsdesk. Sports is up next.